It's a brand new day, and we have a brand new stat showing that Brad Underwood really is one of the best coaches in America. Locked on Illini. Let's go.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Illini. Thank you for making us your first listen every single day. Simple reminder, we are free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Sunny Verma. You can find me at IlliniCast, or you can find me at the Sunny V on X. And most importantly, you can now find me on Facebook and Instagram. Just do a simple search for Locked On Illini. I'm also going to be creating some extra content on those platforms. It's Thursday, it's game day, and we have a fun episode for you today. We're going to be talking a little Brad Underwood. A new stat came out, which I thought was extremely impressive, and I wanted to share with you guys. Also, tonight is going to be kickoff for the Illini football season. So we're going to do a quick little preview for the Eastern Illinois game and what I'm expecting to see. Today's episode is brought to you by Ultimate GM. Ultimate College Football HC is a brand new mobile game that is completely free, has no ads, and is 100% playable offline. Use the promo code LOCKEDONCFB, all caps, inside the game store to receive a free boost to your program. Begin your coaching legacy today. So, let's start off with a little basketball. We've been a little football heavy this past week, and so understandably, of course, the football season kicks off on Thursday night. But I saw this tweet by College Basketball Report, and I figured this is something I had to bring up on the show because, again, I'm just completely impressed. The stat is notable college basketball head coach records versus top 10 teams. Now, this is since 2009, just for reference. You have number one, Bill Self at Kansas with a record of 43-21. Amazing. That's a 672 win percentage. John Calipari's number two at Kentucky with a 31-30 record, just over 500. And our very own Brad Underwood shows up at number three with a 15-16 record. That's a 484 winning percentage. Now, quickly, just to round up the top five, there's Tony Bennett, number four at Virginia. And number five is Matt Painter at 23-31. I hope you guys are as impressed by this stat as I was, because I feel like I had to take a double and triple take when it was first brought to my attention. Bill Self, number one, all the credit to him. A 672 winning percentage against top 10 teams. That's impressive no matter what. And quite honestly, Bill Self may go down as the best college basketball coach of our generation. Number two, John Calipari, of course, also known as one of the best coaches of our generation, basically, essentially with just a 500 record. Now, what's the difference between Bill Self, John Calipari, and then Brad Underwood at number three? Bill Self got that record coaching the Kansas Jayhawks. John Calipari got his record coaching Kentucky. Brad Underwood is number three in the entire country, and that includes his records at Stephen F. Austin, Oklahoma State, and those first couple years at Illinois, where I don't have to remind you, we just weren't a very good basketball team. Brad Underwood's placement on this list is one of the most impressive feats I've seen in a very, very long time. I know this is almost an unofficial Brad Underwood fan podcast, and for a while there, Illinois fans were kind of divided on whether they liked Underwood or not. I don't think there's really much of a discussion anymore, especially now that he's been able to get us to the Elite Eight as of last year. But stats like this are why I'm so passionate about Brad, why I'm so excited, and quite honestly, outside maybe Dan Hurley and, of course, possibly Bill Self, I don't think there's another coach I would want running this program than Brad. Brad understands now what it takes to win at Illinois. And he understands that if what he's doing isn't working, well, guess what? I got to make some adjustments. Let's pivot here. Let's try this. He's built completely different rosters based on big men, based on guards, based on offense, based on defense. And he succeeded at every level. The third best coach since 2009 against top 10 teams. Now, keep in mind, when Bill Self and John Calipari are playing top 10 teams at Kansas and Kentucky, guess what? They were most likely very close to either top 10 teams themselves or very close to it. We've had success here at Illinois in the last few years under Brad Underwood, but not that kind of success. Brad Underwood, I would venture to guess, was an underdog in almost every one of those games against top 10 teams. And he comes in with a 15-16 record, just one game under 500. Sure, we all have issues with his in-game coaching abilities. And sometimes he is a little slow to react. But I wouldn't call him a bad in-game coach. Average at best. I'm not saying he's a great one. But what Brad is very good at is shoring up his weaknesses. Hiring the best people around him. Getting the best developers of talent. Some guys are great X's and O's coaches. Some guys are just really, really good CEOs. And I think Brad Underwood's one of those guys. A guy who can be the face of a program. Who knows what it takes to be the leader, to be the number one guy. And guess what? Results follow. It would be one thing if it was a Ron Zook's type of situation where, we were getting all these outstanding recruiting classes, but we weren't able to show the fruits of it on the field or on the court in this case. But Brad Underwood's done that. He's winning both on the court and off the court. Illinois' NIL game is at an all-time high, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Why? Because this passionate Illinois fan base is behind Brad. We've seen the success that he's already brought, and we're excited about the success that he could continue to bring. Illinois is one of the handful of teams you can honestly say has a chance at winning a national championship in the next handful of years. There's not many programs out there you can say that about. And I say that for multiple reasons. The rosters we have now, combined with the assistant coaches that we have now, so we know that our roster will always look pretty solid. We have some great recruiters on staff, and not just great recruiters, good developers of talent. Even some of our younger guys on the coaching staff, like a Tyler Underwood, we can clearly see what their strengths are in formulating that offense that was one of the best, if not the best, in college basketball last year. I'm super excited to see what that offense looks like this year. Orlando Antigua, I'd argue one of the three best assistant coaches in all of college basketball, not just at recruiting, but also at big man developing. Jeff Alexander's turned out to be one of the best international recruiters in the country. Tim Anderson's responsible for some of the major classes we've had in the last few seasons. We're in good hands. And we're in good hands because these top-notch assistant coaches, these top-notch players, and the alumni, they all respect Brad Underwood. And it's not without merit. This is simply one of the latest stats that just shows that Illinois is in good hands with Brad Underwood. It's summertime, which means it's barbecue season. Stock up on all your grilling favorites and earn cash back on every purchase when you use Ibotta. So you won't have to choose between burgers or hot dogs. You can get both. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Simply add offers in the app, upload a receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONCollege when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONCollege. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONCollege. College football is back, and it's not too late to catch up before the season kicks off. SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12. You can get it all from Locked On stable of college experts by subscribing to the Locked On College Football Podcast. Who has a chance to make the playoff? What teams can cause chaos in their new conferences? Everything you need to know all in one place. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the Locked On College Football Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Okay, so it's Thursday, and at 8 p.m. Central Time, the Illini football season finally kicks off on the Big Ten Network as they're going to go up against Eastern Illinois. Now, Eastern Illinois is an FCS team, but they're a pretty decent team. Last year, they finished 8-3, and in the FCS poll, they've actually gotten a couple votes for the top 25. So they're no one to necessarily sleep on, but Brett's built this Illinois program to the point where we no longer should really have to worry about whether we have a chance to get upset by these FCS teams. I'll be honest, those last couple of years with Lovey, there was no team that we could go up against that I was always 100% confident that we're going to come out victorious. I'm no longer in that mindset anymore. I think the spread itself kind of confirms what I'm saying. I believe last check, the spread was 27.5 in the favor of the Illini. Despite that large spread, it's important that the staff make sure that the players don't overlook Eastern Illinois, just because, again, they're not exactly slouches. And I feel a little bit more confident what Brett had to say about Eastern Illinois earlier this week. And I quote, "This would be on Eastern Illinois' schedule, the marquee game of the year. You're always going to get an opponent's best every week. We always say, respect all, fear none. The message from me as a head coach is the same when we're playing Eastern Illinois, and it'll be the same against Kansas. You've got to learn to play your opponent." That Kansas game next week is looming large. I've been talking about it for almost a month or so, that Kansas game could be the difference between going to a bowl game or not. But Illinois needs to keep its focus on this week. And so what do I want to see out of the Illini Thursday night? I want to see a dominant first half. In particular, I'm going to pay close attention to Luke Altmaier. Now, I don't expect Luke to have gaudy numbers. I think if we're supposed to take care of business the way most expect us to do, let's be honest. Between our offensive line and our defensive line, there's going to be a massive size advantage for the Illini. And if our offensive line is as good as I think it is and the staff claims it to be, even the best of the FCS teams would be hard-pressed to try to handle them. First half, I absolutely expect to see a lot of running the ball, controlling the clock, get up early, establish your dominance. But what I want to see from Luke Altmaier is progression. I want to see that he's not as jittery as he was last year. I keep making the excuse for him last year. It was his first full year as a college football starter. That it doesn't apply anymore. On Thursday night, I want to feel like this looks like a veteran quarterback. I want to see him make decisions, commit to the decisions, make the throw when it's time to make the throw, not a split second too late like he was prone to do last year. There won't be much pressure on him this week. Again, I fully expect Caden Fagan to get as many yards as he wants in that first half. Now, having said that, I want to be as aggressive as possible in that first half, just so we can be vanilla the rest of the game. As much as I say that I want to focus on Eastern Illinois and not think about Kansas, we have to think a little bit about Kansas. We don't want to give them too much game tape. This game against Eastern Illinois, let's just win with our size. Let's just win with our skill. Let's just win with our coaching. Let's not give Kansas more game tape to game plan against. Let's let the starters play the first half. Give us a 3-touchdown lead. And let the young guys play. The unproven guys. Give them some time on the field. Experience is important. We're going to need that later on in the season. Those younger guys, those underclassmen, this is their opportunity to shine. Give them a nice, cushy lead in the second half, and then let's see what they got. You want your guys rested. You don't want to risk any sort of injury to your offensive line or your running backs. Certainly not Luke, because those guys are going to be key for week 2. I think this is going to be a pretty sound Illinois victory. I'll say in the first half, 21-3. And then ultimately, Illinois wins 34-10. Does not cover the spread. But in my head, the game plan goes super aggressive right off the bat. And then the second half, just play it safe. That's why covering the 27.5 isn't super important to me. What I want to see is that first half, just pure dominance. And I want to see Luke in particular look like he's now a veteran quarterback. Illinois is 18-0 against FCS teams. It's time to make it 19-0. Hey, Locked On Illini fans, I want to take a moment to give you a heads up on a brand new mobile game that I think you're going to love as much as I do. Ultimate College Football HC. In this amazing game and simulation, you get to step into the shoes of a head coach and lead your college football program to glory. Can you imagine actually being the head coach of the Illini? From recruiting players and hiring coaching staff to overseeing training camps and handling school scholarships, you control every crucial detail of your program. It's all in your hands. Will you be able to handle the pressure? And here's what I really love about the game. You're responsible for calling offensive plays during the game. Your strategy will not only determine the success of your football season, but will shape the future and legacy of your program. Ultimate College Football AC is completely free, has no ads, and is 100% playable offline. You can play on the go, as you want, and when you want to. And of course, we have a special offer for Locked On Illini fans. Use the promo code LOCKEDONCFB, all caps, inside the game store to receive a free boost to your program. Make sure to take advantage of this perk as it will get your team off to a strong start. To download the game, just visit ultimate-cfb.com or look it up on the app stores. Ultimate College Football HC. Begin your coaching legacy today. And that just about wraps it up for this edition of Locked On Illini. Thank you all so much for joining me today on Thursday. It's game day. On your way out, if you can do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It costs you guys absolutely nothing, but you have no idea how much it really helps the channel grow. Already, in a span of about 3.5 months, we've become the second biggest Illini dedicated channel out there. And if you're looking forward to more Illini content, please also find me at IlliniCast, also on YouTube. I'll be doing more longer form content both before games and after games. But if you like the format here at Locked On Illini, I plan on doing post-game shows about a half hour after every single game. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing one after the Eastern Illinois game just because it's such a late kickoff, and I'm actually heading back to Chicago for the holiday weekend. But we'll see. It'll be out either Thursday night, or I might just go ahead and film it early Friday morning. But regardless, this is your one-stop shop for daily Illini content. So I would really appreciate if you can share this with your friends, other people who might be interested, especially now that the off season is technically over and football season is here. Even though it's football season, of course, we'll always also have basketball content for you guys here at Locked On Illini. Let me know your final score predictions for the game tonight in the chat. I'm curious to see if anyone can nail it spot on. I'll be out in the Chicago West suburbs watching all of college football games on Saturday. So if you're in the area, let me know in the comments, and who knows, maybe we can all link up. Thank you for making Locked On Illini your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On College Football podcast. From NIL deals to never-ending conference realignment and rumors, Spencer McLaughlin gets you ready for an exciting season on the gridiron. You can find the link to Locked On College Football in the description so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Once again, find me on Facebook. Find me on Instagram, Locked On Illini. Feel free to send me any messages. Share it with your friends. It's game day. Go Illini. ILL. Love you guys.